spend a moment and cultivate our motivation.
Sebelum kita mulai, kita bangun, kita buat motivasi untuk diri kita.
So let's think that we'll listen and share and contemplate the Buddha's teachings this evening.
Bayangkan manfaat dari berkumpul dan berbagi ajaran Buddha hari ini.
So that we can improve ourselves and learn ways to subdue our mental afflictions.
Kita bertekad untuk belajar dan memperbaiki hidup kita dan memperbaiki emosi pikiran kita.
And so we can learn ways to increase our wisdom and compassion.
Kita juga bisa belajar mengembangkan kebijaksanaan dan kasih sayang kita.
And let's do this for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Dan kita lakukan demi semua orang.
And specifically, having the intention to become a fully awakened Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Dan secara khusus kita bertekad untuk juga menjadi Buddha demi semua orang.
And then slowly open your eyes and come out of your meditation.
Silakan buka mata Anda dan keluar dari kondisi meditasi.
Do you need some tissue? So the reason we start off with cultivating our motivation is because why we do something is much more important than what we do.
Kenapa kita mulai dengan membangun motivasi seperti tadi ya? Karena alasan kita melakukan praktek dharma ini jauh lebih penting daripada apa yang dilakukan, daripada apa yang belajar.
Yeah. Usually in society, we're very outward focused, and so we think what we do, how the impression we make on other people is most important.
Karena biasanya secara umum di masyarakat orang sering berpikir keluar ya, kesan apa yang akan saya dapatkan dari perbuatan saya.
But according to the Buddha, that's not the case. Rather, what our intention is, what our motivation is the real important thing.
Tapi menurut Buddha tidak seperti itu ya. Niat kita, motivasi kita itu yang penting.
Okay. Because we know how to look good in front of other people, and we can look good but have a very rotten motivation. For example, wanting to manipulate them or impress them or get something out of them.
Kita bisa kelihatan berpenampilan bagus baik di depan orang banyak, tapi niatnya, motivasinya bisa saja kita ingin menimbulkan kesan, ingin dianggap baik, atau malah kita ingin mendapatkan manfaat dari orang, menggunakan orang tersebut.
Okay. But, according to the law of karma, impressing other people isn't necessarily good karma, especially if we have a selfish motivation for doing so.
Tapi menurut hukum karma, ya, ingin orang lain berkesan kepada kita tidak ada hubungannya ya. Apalagi kalau kita niatnya adalah untuk melakukan itu, untuk agar orang berkesan.
Yeah. The Buddha said the origin of our happiness and suffering is in our own mind, specifically with our intentions, why we do things.
Buddha mengajarkan penderitaan dan kebahagiaan itu tergantung kepada pikiran kita, khususnya alasan kenapa kita melakukan hal tersebut.
So that makes it so that we always have to reflect and look inside.
Kita harus selalu berkaca dan melihat ke dalam.
Am I acting with kindness or am I trying to get something out of somebody?
Ya, saya lakukan ini karena memang saya punya kasih sayang atau karena saya ingin mendapatkan sesuatu dari orang.
Am I acting with compassion, or am I really trying to get somebody to do something, get them to do what I want them to do?
Jadi apakah saya melakukan ini atas dasar cinta kasih, atas dasar agar orang lain melakukan apa yang saya mau?
Yeah, because lots of times we're like that, aren't we? We pretend to be so kind, so compassionate, but it's really because we want somebody to do what we want them to do, not because we actually care about them.
Bukankah kita sering seperti itu? Kita melakukan sesuatu agar orang lain mengikuti maunya kita. Bukan sungguh-sungguh karena kita peduli, karena kita punya kasih sayang kepada mereka.
Yeah. So that's why it's so important to always check, what is my intention? Why am I doing what I'm doing?
Itulah kenapa penting kita selalu cek motivasi kita. Kenapa saya melakukan ini? Apa alasan?
And if we notice that we're acting out of greed or clinging attachment, then we need to sound the alarm bell inside of our mind and know that we have to do something with that mental state and not follow it.
Ya, kalau kita tahu ya, kita tangkap niat kita itu ternyata adalah untuk keluar ya. Kita mesti sadari, kemudian kita kembali untuk menjalankan motivasi yang sebenarnya seharusnya kita lakukan.
And it's hard to recognize clinging attachment and greed as a defilement because our society says, oh, but this is good. This will bring you success and happiness.
Nah, kita kebanyakan bertindak karena kemelekatan, kebodohan, keserakahan, dan masyarakat bilang, oh nggak apa-apa, memang begitu. Inilah kesuksesan, inilah kebahagiaan.
Because we're all brought up, you know, oh that looks good, I want it, and oh that looks good, I want that one too, and that looks, oh yes, that's mine, you know.
Dan di masyarakat kan gitu ya, lihat barang bagus, saya mau. Ini bagus, saya mau. Itu bagus, saya mau. Itulah kehidupan kita secara umum.
And so the more stuff you can have, the better reputation you have, yeah, then, oh, I'm successful.
Jadi semakin banyak barang kita, semakin tinggi reputasi kita, saya sukses.
Yeah. But is that really what the meaning of success is? Having a lot of stuff? Having a lot of people who think you're wonderful?
Tapi benar gak sih? Itu makna sukses? Punya banyak harta dan banyak orang yang berpikir bahwa oh kamu tuh orang baik.
Yeah. When our mind is just thinking me all the time, you know, we're creating a lot of negative karma, which is creating the cause for our own suffering in the future.
Jika kita terus berpikir saya, me is itu. Saya, maka kita
mine, huh?
Milik saya. Dan kita akhirnya melakukan sesuatu itu berdasarkan keserakahan dan kita menciptakan lebih banyak karma buruk karena keegoisan, keterpusakan kepada diri sendiri.
Okay. But then the more attached we are to things, the more upset we are when we can't get what we want, or when we get it and then we lose it.
Semakin kita melekat kepada sesuatu, kita semakin menderita. Kenapa kita menderita? Kita menderita karena kita tidak bisa mendapatkannya, dan kita juga menderita ketika kita kehilangannya.
So the more attached we are, the more problem we have with anger.
Semakin Anda melekat, semakin Anda punya banyak masalah.
Right? Then we blow up. Blow up. You know, you tell the translator that he should just listen better.
Blow up itu ngamuk ya, meledak, marah.
And if we don't blow up, then we just get very cold and unfriendly.
Jadi kalau kita nggak marah, kita kayak gitu tuh diem.
Yeah.
Jadi cool ya, diem.
And again, with anger as a motivating force, we say all sorts of cruel things to people and do all sorts of awful things to them.
Ya karena marah, ucapan dan tindakan kita itu seringkali buruk ya, bahkan mungkin menjurus jahat.
Yeah. So we want to be able to tame our anger too, and not just live it out. Okay. So when we have anger, then we need to also learn how to calm our mind and get rid of the anger.
Saat marah, kita harus tahu cara menenangkan pikiran dan menyingkirkan kemarahan.
Okay. Then sometimes we get jealous of other people, don't we?
Kadang kita iri pada orang lain, bukan?
Yeah. Oh, they have something. I want it.
Mereka punya sesuatu dan saya mau itu.
Yeah. I deserve it. They don't.
Saya yang berhak, mereka tidak.
Then we try and destroy somebody else's happiness.
Akhirnya kita berusaha menghancurkan kebahagiaan orang lain.
So this is another kind of afflictive emotion that we have to oppose.
Ya ini ya emosi negatif yang lain yang sebenarnya harus kita lenyapkan.
Yeah. Other times we're quite proud and arrogant.
Kadang-kadang kita sombong seperti tadi.
Yeah. I'm so beautiful.
Abbey like this. Saya ganteng sekali.
Yeah, like this. Yeah. Or I'm so intelligent. I'm so wise.
Atau saya pintar. Saya bijak.
So we're just puffed up about ourselves.
Dan kita menyombongkan diri kita, ya. Membesar-besarkan diri kita.
So the trouble with all these afflictive emotions is that they motivate actions of body and speech in which we harm others.
Ya, jadi masalahnya ini akhirnya menjadi motivasi yang membuat perbuatan kita itu menyakiti orang.
And by harming others, we also create negative karma, which harms us.
Menyakiti orang lain berarti menciptakan karma negatif yang pada akhirnya menyakiti balik diri kita sendiri.
Okay, because every action we do leaves an energy trace called the karmic seed with our consciousness.
Karena setiap perbuatan itu menghasilkan energi yang disebut jejak karma yang ada di dalam arus kesadaran kita.
And that will influence what we're born as in a future life.
Dan itu mempengaruhi kelahiran kembali kita, kelahiran kita berikutnya.
Okay, what our habits are in a future life.
Mempengaruhi kebiasaan kita di kehidupan berikutnya.
How people treat us in a future life.
Bagaimana orang memperlakukan kita di kehidupan berikutnya.
And even what environment we are born into.
Dan bahkan berpengaruh kepada lingkungan seperti apa tempat nanti kita akan lahir.
Yeah. So the karma we create, whether it's positive or destructive, is very, very important.
Karma yang kita buat, apakah positif atau destruktif, itu penting sekali untuk kita perhatikan.
And because the karma is created by our own intentions and motivations, we have to really be very attentive to what our motivations and intentions are.
Karena karma diciptakan oleh niat dan kehendak kita, maka sudah sepatutnya kita berhati-hati atas niat dan kehendak kita.
So this is one of the things that actually attracted me to Buddhism at the beginning, was that you have to learn to be completely honest with yourself.
Ya. Ini juga satu hal yang membuat saya tertarik kepada agama Buddha, yaitu Anda harus sungguh-sungguh jujur total kepada diri Anda sendiri.
Yeah, that acting hypocritically, pretending to be one way, but being another way, doesn't help you.
Jadi kalau ada hipokrit itu artinya ngomongnya A, melakukannya B kan, dan itu sungguh-sungguh tidak menjadi diri Anda.
Yeah, that we have to really be genuine in our own hearts.
Di hati kita sendiri kita harus benar-benar tulus.
Okay, and so that means, when we have a harmful intention or a greedy intention, to say, okay, my intention is my responsibility, and if I don't have a good intention, I have to change it.
Jadi waktu kita sadar niat kita buruk, niat kita karena keserakahan, kita harus bisa menyadarinya, ya, dan langsung mengatakan bahwa ini buruk, ini niat tidak bagus, dan saya harus mengganti niat atau kehendak ini.
Okay. On the other hand, if I have a good intention and I'm acting out of genuine kindness and generosity, then even if somebody criticizes me, it doesn't matter because my motivation is something good.
Ya, kalau kita punya niat baik, ya, karena kasih sayang dan cinta kasih, dan kemudian orang itu mengkritik kita, tapi kita sadari saja tidak apa-apa orang mengkritik kita, karena kita tahu kita punya niat yang baik, kita punya niat yang tulus.
Now, one of if we trace back the afflicted mental states that are the troublemakers, they're all rooted in ignorance.
Kalau kita telusuri kembali ya semua emosi-emosi negatif yang membawa masalah bagi kita, akarnya itu adalah kekeliruan. Ya.
Okay. Now, none of us like to think we're ignorant, do we? We all want to think that we're very smart.
Kita semua tidak suka berpikir kita itu keliru, ya. Kita suka berpikir kita itu cerdas.
But the meaning of ignorance in Buddhism is very different from the meaning of ignorance in regular society.
Arti ya kekeliruan atau kadang diterjemahkan kebodohan itu di dalam agama Buddha beda dengan bodoh secara umum. Ya.
Yeah, because in Buddhism it means that we misapprehend how things exist.
Ya, kebodohan di Buddhis artinya kita salah memahami bagaimana sesuatu itu bisa ada.
So somebody might be very intelligent in a worldly way, but still misapprehend how things exist.
Secara umum, seseorang itu mungkin cerdas, tapi secara dharma mungkin dia salah memahami bagaimana segala sesuatu itu adanya.
Okay. So let's look at some examples of ignorance, how it works.
Kita lihat beberapa contoh kebodohan ini ya.
The word my is a very good example that helps us to see.
Saya, ini contoh yang bagus untuk bisa kita lihat, memahami tentang kebodohan itu.
Okay, so this is mine. My microphone. Yeah, my friend. This is mine.
Ini teman saya, milik saya. Itu contohnya.
Okay, so let's use as an example a car.
Kita pakai contoh mobil ya.
Yeah. When the car is at the car dealers, it's not mine.
Mobil di showroom bukan punya kita, betul?
Okay. So if the car gets dented or something like that, I don't care.
Kalau mobilnya kenapa-napa, bukan urusan saya nggak peduli.
Right?
Betul?
Yeah. Okay. But if I go to the car dealers and I go, oh, I really like that car. And I give the car dealer a piece of plastic that's about this big, and he gives me the car.
Anda pergi ke showroom, lalu Anda kasih ke tukang jual mobil itu kartu sebesar ini, lalu ditukar sama mobil.
Okay. Now it's my car.
Sekarang itu mobil saya.
Yeah. So look at my new car.
Lihat mobil baru saya.
Yeah. It has this feature and this feature. It's the newest model.
Model paling baru, ada isinya, ada ini, ada itu. Ya.
Yeah. My car drives so smoothly.
Mobil saya jalannya mulus, enak.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful.
Bagus banget.
Yeah. And people are going to be really impressed that I drive this car.
Orang-orang yang lihat saya nyetir akan terkesan. Ya.
Yeah. Instead of that old piece of junk that used to be my car.
Dibanding mobil saya yang dulu jelek, bobrok, hancur.
Yeah. My car.
Mobil saya.
Okay. Now, what happens if your car gets dented?
Kalau mobil Anda penyok, gimana?
What happens?
Apa rasanya? Seperti itu.
My car! What idiot scratched my car?
Orang bego banget nabrak mobil saya.
Yeah, how much is it going to cost me to repair my car?
Saya harus bayar berapa untuk perbaiki mobil saya?
Okay. Now, there's a big difference, isn't it? When it was still on the car, in the car dealer's parking lot, I didn't care if it got dented. Now, if it gets dented, it's a national disaster.
Waktu mobilnya masih di dealer, waktu lecet bukan urusan saya. Tapi waktu mobilnya udah jadi milik saya, waktu lecet, ini bencana nasional.
Yeah, forget the civil war in Syria and the refugees. Yeah, forget the people who are starving around the world. The biggest disaster today is my car got scratched.
Lupain perang di Suriah, lupakan orang-orang kelaparan di dunia. Masalah nomor satu dan paling besar sekarang adalah mobil saya lecet.
Right?
Tuh?
Yeah, don't we act that way?
Kita suka bersikap seperti itu, bukan?
Yeah, then you go into work, you tell your colleagues, you'll never guess what happened. My new car got dented.
Dan Anda pergi kerja ya, ngomong sama teman kerjanya, mobil baru gua lecet.
Okay, so notice the difference between when that short word my is associated with the car and where that one word my is not associated with the car.
Jadi bisa lihat perbedaannya, ya. Cuma kata saya. Ya, kita hubungkan kata saya dengan mobil dan kata itu tanpa. Kita hubungkan mobil itu dengan atau tanpa saya. Perbedaannya cuma satu kata, tapi perbedaannya luar biasa.
There's a big difference, isn't there?
Perbedaannya besar ya.
Yeah, one word, my.
Satu kata, punya saya.
Okay, but when we look at the car and we say this is mine, we feel like there's something inside of the car that makes it really mine.
Waktu kita bilang mobil saya, kita merasa ada sesuatu yang sangat-sangat penting yang membuat mobil ini itu ada dalam diri saya.
Yeah. It's not your car.
Bukan mobil saya.
Yeah.
Not my car.
Yeah. So you be careful if you drive it. It's not your car.
Bukan mobil saya, mobil Anda, your car.
Yeah.
Apa itu? Mobil Anda.
And if anybody praises you when you're driving my car, you have to tell them it's my car.
Okay.
Okay.
Jadi waktu bilang mobil saya, berarti mobil dia.
Okay. But if you look at the car, what about the car is mine?
Kalau Anda teliti mobil, bagian mana sih yang mobil itu, bagaimana dari mobil itu milik Anda,
Yeah.
milik saya.
Because I'm making a big deal because this car is mine. But what exactly is it that makes the car mine?
Ini perbedaannya besar. Kita bilang ini mobil saya, tapi persisnya yang seperti apa sih mobil itu milik saya?
Yeah. It feels like when we look at the car, there's something in the car itself that says, this belongs to children. This belongs to me. Yeah.
Sepertinya waktu kita bilang ini mobil saya, atau kita mengatakan itu, ada sesuatu di dalam mobil tersebut yang juga bilang ini loh, saya ini milik saya ini milik penerbang condong.
Okay. Or just it belongs to me.
Atau
Yeah.
punya saya, ya. Punya
Okay.
saya.
But if you look through the car, is there something in the car that is mine or that makes it mine?
Kalau Anda teliti lagi mobil itu, ada nggak sih sesuatu di mobil itu yang punya saya, milik saya?
Yeah. If you look, does the engine make it mine?
Apakah Anda perhatikan mesinnya saja, lalu mobil itu jadi milik saya?
Are the wheels mine?
Atau rodanya itu punya saya?
What about the seat? Is that all the seats? Is that what makes it mine?
Tempat duduknya, apakah tempat duduknya itu yang membuat mobil itu milik saya?
Where is mine or my inside this car?
Di mana milik saya ada di dalam mobil itu?
Yeah. Can you find something in the car that makes it yours?
Bisa nggak Anda temukan sesuatu di dalam mobil tersebut yang menjadikan mobil itu milik Anda?
It seems like there's something in the car that's mine, but when we look, can we draw a line around something that's mine?
Sepertinya ada sesuatu di mobil tersebut yang menjadikan itu mobil itu milik saya.
Ya.
Tapi benar-benar nggak sih kita bisa tentukan yang mana yang sesungguhnya jadi milik saya?
At the most you can point to is a slip of paper that says that you have to carry with you. What's it called? A proof of
SPNK.
yeah, like a proof of ownership or something like that.
But we don't always bring it. We call it BPKB. It's a quite big book actually.
Oh.
Mostly people keep it at home.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, we keep it at home.
at home. So if you get stopped by the police, how do you prove it's your car?
We just show the registration number, not the ownership of the car.
Ah,
Like the last time I was driving the
Yeah,
car,
right.
so if I was showing the registration number,
okay.
not the ownership.
Okay, but you could have stole the car and still showed the registration
Yes.
number.
Yes.
Oh, that's not very efficient, is it?
But it means, if I don't have the book of ownership, I cannot sell the car.
Okay.
I cannot renew the plate number every 5 years.
Uh-huh.
So that's it.
You can't sell the car, but you also can't,
Sell the parts.
yeah, but you can't also prove it's yours. I mean, the police, if they stop you, they can't tell if it's a stolen car or not.
Yes, they cannot.
Oh,
Yes.
they should do things differently so they can catch stolen cars. Yeah, tell the police that.
This is welcome to Indonesia.
Okay, but the most you could ever point to is just something, some piece of paper that has your name on it in association with the car. That's the most you can do.
Jadi gini, dari mobil itu kan bentuk mobilnya. Apa sih sebenarnya membuat mobil itu milik kita? Satu hal saja yang paling bisa menunjukkan itu mobil kita, cuman surat BPKB ini atau kwitansi pembelian yang ada namanya mobil gitu ya.
Yeah. So there's one piece of paper, and that's all you have to show for mine, and yet mine is such a big deal to you.
Dan selembar kertas itulah ya yang membuat kita mengatakan itu mobil saya. Dan milik saya ini menjadi sesuatu yang penting, yang besar banget buat diri.
And that piece of paper makes it mine simply because everybody else agreed that if I have that piece of paper, then it's mine.
Nah, selembar kertas itu, BPKB itu, ya, itulah yang membuat semua orang itu sepakat, setuju bahwa mobil itu milik saya. Paham ya?
Yeah. But when you really look at it, there's nothing there that makes it mine.
Sekali lagi, kalau Anda teliti, perhatikan sesungguh-sungguhnya.
Yeah.
Tidak ada satupun hal di mobil itu yang menjadikan mobil itu milik saya,
Yeah.
milik Anda.
If, at least not something that makes it inherently mine.
Tidak ada sesuatu yang dari sananya itu mobilnya milik Anda.
You know, something that makes it have the nature of me, you know.
Sesuatu yang dari sananya secara langsung itu milik saya, nggak ada.
Okay. So it's only mine according to convention.
Menjadi milik saya itu karena kesepakatan umum.
Okay, just according to worldly convention, that's the only way we can ever say anything's mine.
Hanya karena kesepakatan orang banyak. Itu satu-satunya hal yang membedakan, yang membuat itu mobil saya.
Okay, so there's some discrepancy between how I feel in my heart when I say this is mine, and the fact that it's mine simply due to a piece of paper and worldly convention.
Jadi ada perbedaan ya antara sesuatu itu benar-benar milik saya atau sesuatu itu cuma karena kenyataan umum bahwa oleh selembar kertas tadi.
Do you have some sense of that discrepancy?
Anda bisa merasa ada perbedaannya?
Yeah. Of when you look at it and you say, this is mine.
Ketika Anda lihat dan bilang itu punya saya.
And it seems like there's something in it that makes it mine.
Sepertinya ada sesuatu di mobil tersebut yang membuat mobil itu milik saya.
Yeah. But in actual fact, there's nothing in it that makes it mine.
Sesungguhnya, faktanya tidak ada satupun yang membuat mobil itu menjadi milik saya.
Nothing.
Tidak ada. Tidak
Yeah.
satupun.
Just worldly convention, that's all.
Hanya kesepakatan umum, ya.
Okay. Now, what about our body?
Tubuh kita, badan kita, fisik kita.
Yeah. This is mine, isn't it?
Badan saya, ini tubuh saya.
Yeah, we have a very strong feeling with our body. This is mine.
Kita sangat sayang sama diri kita, perasaan kita kuat. Kita bilang ini tubuh saya, badan saya.
Yeah. Sometimes we even say it's me, don't we?
Kadang-kadang kita bahkan mengatakannya diri saya, ya.
Yeah.
Ini itu saya.
But this is mine. It's not somebody else's body.
Ini tubuh saya, bukan tubuh orang lain.
Okay. So we really feel that, don't we? Like there's something in this body. This is definitely mine.
Dan kita seperti itu. Ada sesuatu dalam tubuh ini dan kita yakini pasti ini milik saya, punya saya.
Yeah. Kind of this feeling like if this isn't mine, then what is, you know?
Kita mungkin berpikir, kalau tubuh ini bukan punya saya, terus punya siapa?
Because I've had this body since I was born, since before I was born.
Karena saya punya tubuh ini sebelum saya lahir, atau bahkan sebelum saya dilahirkan.
Okay. But again, let's stop and look at what makes this body mine.
Sekali lagi kita renungkan, apa yang membuat tubuh ini tubuh saya?
Yeah. If you just kind of mentally scan your body, you know, the liver, the spleen, the intestines, the lungs, is there something inside of this that makes it mine?
Kalau kita cek tubuh kita, ya, jantung, liver, dan kawan-kawan, apakah ada sesuatu yang sesungguhnya itu milik saya?
Yeah. If you open it up, is there a name tag with your name inside of it?
Kalau kita buka, di jantung kita ada namanya, ada tanda nama.
This body belongs to so and so.
Ada sertifikat tubuh ini milik Intan gitu.
Yeah. There's nothing really we can point to in the body that makes it mine, is there?
Nggak ada ya. Nggak ada satupun di tubuh kita tuh yang kita bisa bilang ini punya saya, ini milik saya.
And if we look more closely, where did our body come from?
Kalau kita teliti lagi, tubuh kita ini dari mana datangnya?
Well, our genes, half are from our mother, half are from our father.
Menurut gen, ya, setengah dari ayah, setengah dari ibu.
So the genes don't really belong to me, they belong to my parents.
Gen kita sesungguhnya bukan milik saya, tapi milik orang tua kita.
Yeah. And my grandparents, and my great-grandparents, and my great-great-grandparents,
Dan kakek
and
saya.
my great-great-great-grandparents.
Punya kakek lagi.
Yeah.
Nenek juga ya.
So actually, you know, the genes and the chromosomes that make up this body, they don't belong to me, they belong to all these people that came before me.
Gen tubuh kita bukan punya kita, tapi sebelumnya milik orang-orang di atas saya, sebelum kita, sebelum saya.
So in my case, I know my parents, I knew 3 of my 4 grandparents, but further back than that, I don't even know who these people are. Some of them, because my family's at the generation of my grandparents, they were immigrants to the US. So some of my great-grandparents, I don't even know their names. Actually, yeah, I only know the name of one great-grandparent.
Jadi untuk kasusnya venerable karena beliau cuma tahu orang tuanya, tahu kakek neneknya cuma 3. Tapi setelah kakek neneknya kan udah nggak tahu siapa lagi. Dan karena beliau itu berimigrasi ke Amerika, maka dia tidak tahu lagi nama-nama orang keluarganya di situ ya. Paling cuma tahu satu aja. Kakek buyutnya paling beliau cuma tahu satu nama dari kakek buyutnya.
Yeah. So if I look at my genes and chromosomes, which determine what this body is and how it works and what it looks like, it actually belongs to all these people that I don't even know and I never even met.
Sesungguhnya ya, gen saya yang membentuk diri saya itu berasal dari orang lain. Orang-orang leluhur saya, orang-orang yang bahkan saya tidak kenal dan saya tidak pernah ketemu.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Betul kan? Ya.
Yeah. So we got the genes, and then, okay, so the genes came together, the sperm and egg came together, that's how we got the genes and chromosome. Then how did we get from that minuscule fertilized egg to this big thing here?
Intinya, gen kita itu kan datang dari ayah ibu ya, ada sperma dan kawan-kawan itu. Nah, itu yang kecil bener, ya, cuma setitik itu ketemu sel telur, terus kok akhirnya kita bisa jadi sebesar ini.
Yeah. We ate food, didn't we?
Makan bukan?
Yeah. So this body is the genes, the chromosomes, and then tons of food.
Tubuh kita ini dari kromosom, dari gen, dan juga makanan yang begitu banyak yang sudah kita makan, tak terhitung.
Now, the food that I ate that made this body grow, none of that food initially belonged to me.
Dan semua makanan yang sudah saya makan, tidak ada satupun makanan itu yang milik saya.
Okay, all that food that I ate since, I was this big inside my mother, all that food came from other people. It belonged to other people, belonged to the farmers.
Makanan yang saya makan sejak saya masih benih sampai sekarang itu milik orang lain, milik para petani.
So, and before, when I was younger, as a child, I ate meat. I wasn't a vegetarian. So, actually, the food that made this body grow, some of it belonged to other people, because I ate other living beings' bodies. So part of this body actually belongs to the animals that I ate.
Jadi sebelum beliau vegetarian, dulu nggak vegetarian ya. Jadi dari semua makanan yang dimakan karena dulu tidak vegetarian, maka kan ada dari tubuh lain ya. Jadi tubuh yang saya miliki sekarang itu juga sebagian milik makhluk lain. Dalam artian milik hewan-hewan yang dulu beliau pernah konsumsi sebelum bervegetarian.
Yeah. So when we really look, is there anything about this body that is mine?
Kalau kita teliti lagi, ada nggak sih sesungguhnya dari tubuh ini apakah milik saya?
Actually, everything about this body belongs to others.
Sesungguhnya, apapun yang ada di tubuh ini sebenarnya milik orang lain, makhluk lain.
Yeah, think about it. Yeah, if you just look at the physical stuff of your body, doesn't it belong to others?
Coba Anda renungkan, apakah tubuh kita, tubuh Anda, itu milik orang lain?
Does that make you feel a little bit different?
Sekarang Anda merasa agak berbeda.
For me, it makes me think, oh, if this body actually belongs to others, then I have a responsibility to use this body to create virtue that can be dedicated for the benefit of others.
Karena saya merasa bahwa tubuh ini milik orang lain, maka saya akan melakukan banyak kebajikan demi orang lain, membawa manfaat untuk orang lain.
Because if I use something that belongs to others to harm others, that isn't right.
Karena jika saya menggunakan milik orang lain untuk menyakiti orang lain, itu sepertinya tidak benar.
Yeah. I have an obligation to use this body so that it's a benefit to others.
Saya punya kewajiban menggunakan tubuh ini untuk membawa manfaat untuk orang lain.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then just thinking, what makes me happy? What do I feel like doing? I'm the best one. All of that is really inappropriate when you think about it.
Ya, jika kita selalu berpikir, apa yang bikin saya bahagia? Ya, apa yang membuat saya macam-macam tadi lupa? Itu nggak benar. What makes me happy and
Yeah, this is mine, I want this, I'm the most important one.
Ini, saya mau itu, saya yang paling penting.
Yeah, I should always be comfortable.
Saya harus selalu merasa nyaman.
Yeah. That thinking like this is really inappropriate if this body belongs to others. I should be doing something that benefits the real owners of this body.
Ya, berpikir seperti ini tidak tepat, tidak benar ya. Malah seharusnya kita harus berpikir dengan tubuh ini bagaimana saya bisa membawa manfaat untuk orang lain. Karena tubuh ini sesungguhnya milik orang lain.
And so what can I do that will be a benefit to others?
Jadi saya bisa lakukan apa untuk memberi manfaat kepada orang lain?
Well, when we look around, who has benefited others the most?
Kalau kita lihat sekeliling, siapa sih yang sebenarnya paling membawa manfaat untuk orang lain?
Yeah. It's the Buddha, isn't it?
Buddha kan?
Yeah. Because the Buddha is able to teach the Dharma, to show all living beings the path out of cyclic existence.
Kenapa Bu? Karena Buddha punya kemampuan untuk mengajar banyak makhluk untuk keluar dari jalan kelahiran kembali.
Okay. The Buddha is able to show living beings how, to liberate ourselves from all suffering forever.
Buddha menunjukkan bagaimana cara membebaskan diri dari penderitaan selama-lamanya.
So if I really want to do something that, is my obligation to the people who actually own this body, then I should use this body to practice the Dharma so I can become a Buddha.
Jadi bagaimana ya? Sesungguhnya saya menggunakan tubuh ini yang sesungguhnya milik orang lain, maka saya harus berpraktek dalam agar saya menjadi Buddha.
Okay, does that make some sense?
Pemikiran ini masuk akal nggak?
Yeah, that I shouldn't just go through life, me, I, my, mine, I want, I don't want, give me this, get this away from me.
Ya, daripada kita selalu berpikir saya, buat saya ini harus saya miliki, saya tidak mau ini, ya, itu yang senantiasa kita pikirkan.
Yeah, that instead I should be looking out at other living beings and how are they? What is their experience? Who needs some help? Who needs some kindness?
Jadi lihat keluar, lihat makhluk lain. Siapa yang butuh bantuan? Siapa yang butuh kebaikan hati? Bagaimana membantu mereka?
And how can I purify my own mind and develop my own good qualities? I must do that so that I can be more effective in being a benefit to
Jadi
others.
lihat apa yang bisa lakukan, praktek apa yang harus dilakukan, sehingga saya bisa menjadi lebih punya manfaat untuk makhluk lain.
Okay, so in short, I must become a Buddha to benefit all living beings.
Singkatnya, saya harus menjadi Buddha untuk membebaskan semua makhluk.
And that thought is what we call the bodhicitta.
Dan niat itu, tekad itu disebut tekad bodhicitta.
Yeah. And they say that all goodness in the world comes from that thought of bodhicitta.
Dan dikatakan semua kebaikan di dunia ini datang dari niat tekad bodhicitta.
Yeah. So the more we can contemplate and generate the bodhicitta, the more we progress on the path to awakening, the more we create goodness that can benefit the world.
Semakin kita renungkan tentang bodhicitta, kita semakin tumbuhkan, kembangkan, dan membuat kebajikan, dan itu memberi manfaat untuk dunia.
Okay. Now somebody's going to go, well, that sounds good, but how in the world am I supposed to become a Buddha?
Itu idenya bagus, tapi saya jadi Buddha, gimana? Bagaimana? Apa yang harus saya lakukan?
I mean, the Buddha he didn't have any defilements, he was generous, he was kind. I mean, I'm just like this ordinary.
Saya bukan siapa-siapa. Buddha punya semua kesempurnaannya, sudah hilang kotoran batinnya. Saya siapa? Saya bukan siapa-siapa.
So we often have this poor quality view of ourselves.
Dan cara mandang kepada diri sendiri ini kadang-kadang yang keliru, ya, merendahkan diri sendiri.
I can't do anything, I'm not going to amount to anything.
Saya nggak bisa apa, penyahok.
Yeah? I'm just like,
Begitulah.
okay. Actually, the Buddha said, feeling that way about ourselves is completely wrong. We shouldn't believe that kind of thought.
Bersikap seperti itu, punya keyakinan seperti itu. Buddha mengatakan itu juga salah.
Because we all have what's called the Buddha nature.
Kenapa sih? Karena kita punya benih kebudayaan.
Okay, the pure nature of our mind
Benih pikiran yang murni.
that can never be taken away from us.
Tidak ada yang bisa merampasnya.
Yeah. And if we develop this pure nature of our mind and remove what obscures it, then we can become a fully awakened Buddha.
Kalau kita kembangkan benih ini, ya, dan kita lenyapkan semua rintangan-rintangan, maka kita bisa menjadi Buddha yang cerah sempurna.
Yeah. So we should have the self-confidence that yes, I can do this.
Makanya kita mesti yakin, mesti pede, ya saya bisa melakukannya.
Yeah. It may take a while, and there's a lot of causes and conditions to create, to make it happen. But yeah, I can do this.
Butuh banyak waktu, sebab, dan kondisi, tapi ya, saya bisa.
Yeah. And if I don't try and become a Buddha, what else am I going to do in this life?
Kalau saya tidak berusaha untuk menjadi Buddha, lalu hidup ini untuk apa?
Yeah.
Ngapain lagi?
Just sit there and feel sorry for myself.
Duduk, kita hanya duduk di pojokan dan mengasihani diri kita.
Yeah. or go through life just being greedy and angry.
Atau terus menjalani hidup dengan penuh kemarahan, keserakahan.
Yeah? No, none of those things look really appetizing for a life, do they? We've got to do something more with our life.
Ya, kita harus melakukan lebih untuk kehidupan kita, kan?
Yeah, especially when we have a precious human life.
Khususnya ya, karena kita punya hidup sebagai manusia yang berharga.
Okay, so we should always be aware of the value and preciousness of our life and use it to practice the path and become closer to Buddhahood.
Kita harus gunakan menghargai nilai kemanusiaan, hidup manusia yang berharga ini dan menggunakannya untuk berpraktek dharma dan menjadi lebih dekat menjadi Buddha.
Okay.
Okay?
Ready to go? Ready to do it?
Siap?
Okay.
Ayo.
Okay. So, we have a little bit of time, maybe for some questions and answers.
Belakangan ini saya baca Dhammapada Atta-Kata.
Recently I've been reading Dhammapada Atta-Kata. Dhammapada Atta-Kata.
Dhammapada
The story behind the
itu
Dhammapada.
berisi cerita tentang
Ya.
itu kan. Ya, munculnya ya Dhammapada. Nah, di situ diceritakan beberapa orang bahkan rumah tangga begitu mendengar pembalasan Buddha, mereka mencapai tingkat kesucian.
Oke.
Pertanyaannya, kalau yang saya tangkap sekarang nih di buku-buku Buddhis, kita mesti meditasi supaya mencapai tingkat kesucian. Nah, kenapa begitu ya? Jadi perbedaannya apa? Kalau beda karma atau gimana?
Saya nak kata. So in the Dhammapada Atta-Kata, the story behind the Dhammapada verses, it says that some people when they listen to the Buddha talk and they get enlightened, they just get enlightened. So, but in the Buddhism book, people say they have to meditate, go through a lot of Buddha Dhamma practice. So that's kind of the explanation. Well, how can it happen? Is it related to karma?
Okay. If you look, okay, yeah.
So the question is related to the, when we read the Dhammapada Atta-Kata,
The commentary.
The commentary text. Some people, when they listen to the teaching by the Buddha, they just got enlightened suddenly. But in some Dhamma books, it says that you have to practice meditation, go through all those practice. So how can this happen? What is the relationship?
Yeah.
Is it related to the karma and things like that?
So everything that arises due to causes and conditions.
Segala sesuatu itu terjadi karena ada sebab dan kondisi.
Yeah. The causes and conditions have to be there. If they aren't, the result isn't going to come.
Sebab dan kondisi harus ada. Kalau nggak ada akibatnya. Tidak ada akibatnya.
Okay. So if you look, for example, when the Buddha first gave the teaching on the Four Noble Truths, to the first group of disciples, then some of them attained stream entry just by hearing the Four Noble Truths that one time.
Ya, jadi pada saat Buddha pertama kali mengajarkan 4 kenyataan Allah kepada lima perkataan, salah satunya langsung menjadi sotapanya. Saat itu juga pada saat berdengar.
Well, that's because in previous lives he had created lots and lots and lots of causes.
Kenapa bisa begitu? Karena di kehidupan sebelumnya dia telah menciptakan begitu banyak sebab.
Yeah, by doing a lot of practice before.
Karena sebelumnya dia telah banyak berlatih.
Okay, and so because of all the merit created before, the wisdom generated before, and so on, then hearing the one discourse by the Buddha was enough to act as the cooperative condition by which he gained stream entry.
Jadi karena dia punya kebajikan dan kebijaksanaan yang cukup, hanya dengan mendengarkan ceramah Buddha, maka kondisinya itu matang dan dia bisa mencapai sotapanya.
Okay, so we have to consider causes and conditions from previous lives.
Oleh sebab itu kita mesti pertimbangkan sebab dan kondisi dari kehidupan sebelumnya.
Yeah, we don't get enlightened by magic.
Kita tidak mencapai pencerahan gitu ya, karena keajaiban, karena mukjizat. Cukup? Thank you. Close the
Let's not do the applause. It's distracting. Okay, other questions?
Pertanyaan yang lain? Ya.
Terima kasih. Tadi yang dibilang untuk kita untuk berlatih dharma, dalam setiap kesempatan juga selalu yang dibilang kita untuk berlatih dharma. Mohon diberi pelatihan seperti apa untuk konkretnya, apa yang harus kita lakukan untuk melatih dharma.
Venerable suggests us to practice Dharma in every moment that we have. So could you please give some guidance what kind of Dharma practice that we should do?
Okay. Short version.
Okay.
Yeah. In the morning when you first wake up, take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
Di pagi hari, begitu Anda bangun, ya, silakan menyatakan perlindungan kepada Buddha, Dharma, dan Sangha.
Even before you get out of bed.
Bahkan sebelum Anda bangun dari tempat tidur.
Okay. And then generate your motivation for the day.
Dan tumbuhkan motivasi Anda untuk hari itu.
So this has 3 parts.
Ini 3 bagian.
Okay, first part is most important thing today is that I don't harm any living being.
Yang pertama adalah hal paling penting hari ini saya tidak menyakiti makhluk apapun.
With my body, speech, and mind.
Dengan tubuh, ucapan, dan pikiran saya.
Yeah, so I've got to be careful how I relate and not harm.
Saya harus berhati-hati berhubungan dengan orang lain sehingga saya tidak menyakiti.
Yeah. Second thing is I want to benefit others as much as I possibly can today.
Yang kedua, saya sebisa mungkin, sebanyak mungkin, saya akan memberi manfaat untuk makhluk lain.
Okay. Third is I want to keep this bodhicitta motivation in my heart and make it the motivation for everything I do today.
Jadi saya mempertahankan tekad bodhicitta ini, niat bodhicitta ini, dan mempertahankannya sepanjang hari ya.
Okay. Then, if you can do some meditation, very good.
Kalau bisa meditasi bagus.
Yeah, there's many different kinds of meditation.
Ada banyak jenis latihan meditasi.
So I can't kind of explain that part of the practice right now.
Tentang meditasi saya tidak bisa jelaskan secara persis.
Yeah. It's also good every day to do some reading from a Dharma book.
Setiap hari baca buku Dharma itu juga bagus.
Yeah. Now you might say, well, I don't have so much time to do this.
Anda bisa bilang, saya nggak punya banyak waktu untuk melakukan ini.
Okay. Well, you have time to eat. You have time to talk to your friends. We always, especially eating, we always nourish our body. We also need to nourish our heart with the Dharma.
Ya, kita punya waktu untuk makan, ngobrol sama teman. Khusus makan, kita harus memberi gizi pada tubuh kita. Bagaimana kita memberi gizi kepada pikiran kita, diri kita.
Okay. And then at the end of the day, look back over the day and, do some reflection. How did I do? Did I live up to my motivation? Or did I make some mistakes?
Ya, di akhir hari Anda bisa renungkan, apakah saya telah menjalani ini sesuai tekad saya, motivasi saya? Apakah ada kesalahan yang saya lakukan?
Okay. If I lived up to my motivation in those aspects of my life in which I did do that, pat myself on the back, rejoice.
Oh ya, jika Anda bisa menjalaninya, menjalani hari sesuai motivasi Anda boleh tepuk punggung Anda bergembira ya, saya bisa.
Yeah. You have that expression, pat yourself on the back? No. Okay, it doesn't mean literally that you do this. It means, that you rejoice. Yeah.
Jadi Anda bergembira, Anda senang bahwa Anda sudah berhasil menjalani hari.
Okay. On the other hand, if we got angry, if we were greedy, then to have some regret for our actions.
Sebaliknya, kalau kita bikin kesalahan, misalnya serakah, kita bisa bikin penyesalan.
Yeah. Reflect on the Buddha's teachings so that we can think, if such a situation were to arise again, how else could I think? How else could I act?
Anda renungkan, kalau kondisinya muncul lagi, bagaimana saya sebaiknya menanggapi kondisi itu?
Okay. And and then make a determination to do better.
Dan bertekad untuk berbuat lebih baik.
Yeah, that way we go to sleep with a clear conscience.
Dengan begitu kita bisa tidur dengan nyenyak ya.
Okay?
Dengan nyenyak dan pikiran.
That's just a rough sketch for daily practice.
Itu secara kasar aja ya, untuk sehari-hari kita berlatih.
Yeah. Basically, you really have to study and you have to learn. The Buddha's teachings are very deep, very vast, and we need to put some effort into learning them and contemplating them and meditating on them.
Ajaran Buddha itu bukan cuma dibaca ya, sebenarnya karena luas dan begitu mendalam. Jadi setelah Anda belajar, Anda perlu itu memeditasikan, Anda perlu merenungkan.
Okay, anything else?
Pertanyaan yang lain, silakan.
Terima kasih, salam pada yang mulia. Yang mau saya tanyakan mengenai pelatihan dalam agama Buddha. Kita sebagai umat Buddha, semuanya dianjurkan untuk mempraktekkan ya, meditasi dan sebagainya. Dan tujuannya satu, untuk mencapai kesempurnaan, yaitu nibbana. Tapi untuk umat awam seperti kami yang berumah tangga, rasanya agak sulit ya. Kalau misalnya untuk anggota sah mungkin bisa. Jadi tolong diberikan maksudnya satu tips lah untuk kami bagaimana berumah tangga atau mungkin adik-adik di sini yang masih begitu muda, yang masa depannya masih panjang, kemudian juga perlu juga mencapai cita-citanya, yang tentu saja dibutuhkan yang namanya motivasi, ambisi, dan sebagainya untuk mencapai cita-cita. Dan semuanya itu rasanya kalau misalnya kita mau imbangi dengan dharma ya, yang namanya motivasi tidak boleh berlebihan, yang namanya
Could you synthesize the question and make it short?
Nah, ini bagaimana sebagai seorang umat awam mencapai cita-cita atau misalnya perjuangan dalam bisnisnya bisa berhasil, tapi tidak melanggar.
Excuse me, can you condense it into one sentence so that I can have a one-sentence question?
Bumbunya dikurangi ya, terus to the point gitu. Atau gini, saya tanya
One
dulu nanti ya.
Maksudnya keambisi seperti begitu aja. Maksudnya seperti kita umat awam itu bagaimana menerjemahkan dari hal ini di dalam.
Yeah.
Let me try to rephrase. So, the thing is, in order to do a Dhamma practice,
Yes.
it is much easier for monastics compared to lay people.
Uh-huh.
For lay people, they have to work for
Can
some
they have the
students.
family? Yeah.
And for some students,
Right.
for example, in order to reach their success,
Yeah.
if they go, they should have ambition. They should get involved with things like that.
Yeah.
So how do they practice the Dhamma in daily life? Because they have to.
Maybe you should ordain.
Mungkin sarannya, mungkin sebaiknya diundang untuk meditasi.
If you really feel passionately that Dharma practice is the most important thing and that you don't have enough time in lay life, then ordain. Makes sense.
Wait. Jadi kalau memang praktek Dharma itu buat Anda, itu hal yang penting, yang lain lebih tinggal dihabiskan.
And if you don't want to ordain, then you still listen to teachings and you practice as best as you can, given the time that you have.
Kalau tidak mau, masih mau jadi umat awam, Anda mendengarkan ajaran, lalu praktekkan sebanyak mungkin, sebisa Anda. How about this, Venerable? As lay people, they need to get some ambition in order to get
To get money.
To get money. Maybe the question is like this: how can you live?
How can I have nirvana and samsara at the same time? That's what the question is.
Bagaimana bisa ada nirvana dan samsara pada saat yang bersamaan?
Yeah.
How to be balanced between worldly spiritual and worldly happiness and spiritual.
Then that's what I said. You listen and you reflect on the teachings and you do the best you can.
Simple.
What else can I say?
Simple. Intinya gini, dengarkan aja, lalu praktekkan semampunya, sebisanya.
Yeah, do what I said before. Take refuge in the morning, generate your motivation, try and live according to a Dharma motivation.
Ya, seperti yang tadi dijelasin ya, bangun pagi, berlindung kepada Triratna, lalu Anda bangkitkan motivasi dan berusahalah hidup seperti motivasi yang sudah kita tentukan di pagi hari itu.
But if you're asking me, how can I be rich, famous, have a good-looking husband, have kids who are fantastic, be very popular and have a high reputation, and also be a Buddha at the same time in this life?
Jadi ya kalau kita bertanya, ya, bagaimana cara sukses, dikenal banyak orang, yang perempuan punya suami ganteng, anak-anaknya baik-baik saja, yang laki-laki punya istri 3, terus Anda mau bisa mencapai kemudahan pada saat yang bersamaan, yang istri 3 kan ya? Gimana gitu? Bagaimana mungkin? I add for the boys, they would like to have 3 wives.
Oh, well, women can have 3 husbands.
I get more suffering.
But 1 husband is too much.
Oke, udah paham. Soalnya kayaknya inti pertanyaannya sama sih. Saya nangkep mirip ya. Intinya learn, practice as much as you can.
What?
Learn the Dhamma and put it into practice as much as you can.
Right.
The way that you can.
Right. Yeah.
Jadi intinya gini, kalau kita mau mencapai nirvana itu kita harus harus ini ya, maksudnya pakai jubah gitu kan.
So he said that in conclusion, so in order to reach into nirvana, so you have to put on work.
I didn't say that.
Enggak gitu kok.
Yeah. Everybody has to practice in the way that they feel most comfortable with. And it depends on, the passion you have for the practice and the lifestyle that's suitable for you.
Setiap orang tuh berlatih sebisa mungkin sesuai semangatnya dan gaya hidup yang cocok untuk mereka. Oke?
Okay? No, it's not okay.
Sudah?
I don't know what to tell you.
Ya, itu memang jawaban yang